Okay, this is Jessica with the Hollywood Times, and we are here with Dillon. I don't want to butcher your last name.
Bentlage.
Bentlage. That's what I was gonna say, but I wasn't sure. We're
It's either
talking,
Bentlage or Bentlage.
okay. We're talking today about watching Mr. Pearson, which is a film, an independent feature. You sort of had a grassroots movement here with getting this out there. Can you tell me what the movie's about and how it came to be
Yeah,
without,
absolutely.
go ahead.
So the film is about a retired actor going through dementia and two caregivers that watch after him one morning, like sort of daytime caretaker, the other one a night evening caretaker. And the or caregiver, apologies. And the daytime caregiver starts to reenact some of his old films with him to help him feel more reconnected to the world. You see this in the certain patients with dementia through music and other sort of artistic expressions. And so we wanted to explore that with an actor. And the story started from just an idea I had. I'm really into just deep diving on Wikipedia and learning a lot about different actors. And I read that Sean Connery had gone through Alzheimer's before he passed away. And I just was really interested in how, he had been retired for 17 years, and this was a battle that he was sort of facing very privately, and what that would have manifested like in him. So I called my good friend Simon Keenitz Kincaid and told him about this idea that I was sort of, kicking around, and he really liked it. He felt a great deal of connection to it because his grandfather was battling Alzheimer's for 9 years. So then we just started talking more and more about it and what the story could potentially be. And pretty quickly we had a script, ready. I think we had our first draft in 3 months, and that's a good sign if you have,
Wow.
something quick that's just inspiring you to keep working on it. Obviously, multiple rewrites all the way up to production, just like any other film. But it was nice to just feel that pull towards the story for both of us that we didn't want to put down and we wanted to keep working on. Um, yeah, and I'm really proud of what it's become.
Yeah, it sounds like it's been really well received by nearly everyone. It's been all the way from like California to Florida to Delaware. I
Yeah,
mean, Massachusetts. You've been all over the place with this, and it seems like it's been really well received by audiences. Do you think that people can really identify with this?
I think so. When we started writing it, we didn't intend it to be an advocacy film. This was, again, just an artistic expression. And I think for most filmmakers, film producers, we kind of gravitate towards what interests us in a story, and hopefully that connects with the audience as well. But as we've been releasing it, we've found that more and more people really seem to gravitate towards the subject matter, the way that we tell the story, which we tried our best to stay hopeful
Mhm.
and bright and happy about, the relationship that the caregiver, Caroline, and Robert, our lead actor, uh kind of create throughout the story, rather than focusing on just the diagnosis. And it seems that a lot of people have really connected with that version of telling it, and also just their own personal experiences. So with a lot of the different shows, we've done Q&As afterwards and gotten to talk to our audiences. And people are really open to sharing about their experiences and talking about what they've seen. And so it's sort of taking on this new life of advocacy for Alzheimer's and dementia awareness. We've actually had, at our last shows in New Hampshire, one of the creative directors of the Alzheimer's Association for New Hampshire on panel with us, talking about, Alzheimer's Association and the work they do, and talking about the film. We had members of the AARP join our opening weekends, and they really love the film, and they want to do a string of shows. Connecticut chapter AARP want to do a string of shows in November, which is leading other chapters to want to do so as well. And now we've decided to start doing private shows at different senior facilities for community members and caregivers on staff, and, family members of people who are living at these facilities.
Mhm.
Um, we got the film recently accredited by the NCTRC, which is the National Council for Therapeutic Recreation Certification. I think I
Yes,
got it.
I have it. That is right. It's amazing
It's
that
a
you can.
mouthful, and I've been practicing.
Yeah.
Um, and that has helped, caregivers gain hours towards their recreational therapy badges. So again, just bringing more education into the film and the conversation around it. But that was never really the intention. We never actually even mention dementia, Alzheimer's in the movie, because you don't want to make a advocacy film and then have people actually not find it as a good representation for what you're trying to advocate for.
Right.
So of course it is, and we've maintained it is an artistic expression, but we're really happy that it sparked conversation around people going through this, how to interact with people going through this, the things that you can take away from a family member and the joy you can still find. Our mantra was really to try to treat dementia as a profound change and not a decline in a loved one, and that's what we were really trying to go for with the film.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And you sort of built the audience one community at a time. It sounded like the way that it's spread is really word of mouth.
Yeah,
I mean, which
absolutely.
is amazing for a
Yeah,
film because you
yeah.
didn't have a traditional advertising campaign.
Mm-mm. No, we didn't have a lot of budget to do that, unfortunately. So Rye Levy, our theatrical booker and distribution consultant, really helped us come up with a curated roadshow for the film. And the idea being to start in small communities, particularly around where we grew up, where we filmed, where crew or actors had communities that could come see the film, and then encouraging word of mouth to grow from there. So we opened in Connecticut, very close to where we shot, and very close to where me and my producing partner Brian Riley grew up. So we were hoping that just knowing enough people, people would come, they would bring friends, they'd want to talk about it. But on top of that, because you don't want to just host a friends and family night, we went to all the communities with posters, coasters, postcards, bookmarks, and would just go to every small local shop and ask if we could put a poster in their window, encouraging them to come see the film, attending most of the shows, reaching out to care facilities, community leadership places in the area, and just asking everyone to come out and see the film, local press, and from there, we've had extensions in certain markets that have gone really well. We extended in Madison, Connecticut for two shows after our premiere, and both those shows, I think, had about 70 people each in them, which was fantastic. And extended again when we were in Boston, and we've just been taking it market by market to really make sure we could curate a community-driven approach. The film is so much about connection that we really wanted to connect with every audience we could.
Right. The film is sort of about, I mean, he's a Hollywood actor. Is he retired or is he still acting?
No, he's retired at this point, retired to the coast of Connecticut, little homage to one of my favorites, Paul Newman, who lived in Westport for a long time.
Oh,
Um,
cool. And
yeah,
he's reconnecting with like his life really by
yeah.
way of these two caregivers.
Exactly. Yeah. So the Caroline, his daytime caregiver, is currently in a process of getting her a visa. She's originally from Poland in the film, and so part of that process for someone coming into the country and trying to get a visa in their field is to show unique ability in their job. Like, why do you have to hire immigrants rather than hiring natural citizens is
Mhm.
part of that process. Our actor Dominique Izawada actually was going through that the year before we were writing it, so it was really useful for us to just ask her questions. Apologies if you hear my dogs, by the way. I have a bunch of dogs, so
That's okay.
um,
Usually I have a cat jump on my lap at some point.
yeah. If they're too loud, let me know, and I will try to go tell
No,
them to be
it's
quiet.
fine.
And so she was really helpful in just getting the basics down for what that looks like. And so in the film, Caroline's character, trying to show that she's unique at this job, how does she create a connection with Robert, is by doing something differently than most caregivers would do. She starts, encouraging his performances, kind of like blending into his daily routine of just let's perform an old film. You know, he's able to recite the lines as if he's still on set. And obviously, there's a little bit of drama there, and things kind of go a little awry. But the idea is for her to help him feel more reconnected.
Wow. I mean, that's really, I mean, it seems really sort of heartfelt and touching. You had a lot of the critics say that it was things like heartfelt, believable, honest, compassionate, a compassionate portrayal of aging and caregiving both. And I just want to make sure we mention that all of the actors, you said in your press release that it was starring Hugo Armstrong, Sam Bullington, Dominica Zawada.
Yeah, Dominica Zawada.
Dominica. Thank you.
Yep.
Louis, is it Rizzo?
Yep. Rizzo.
Rizzo and the name Ja. I don't know the spelling. Zainab.
Zainab Ja.
Zainab Ja. Okay, wonderful. Just so we get all of them in there. I
Yep.
mean, I can't wait to see this. One critic called it one of the best films of the year.
Yeah, that was crazy. I really appreciate it. I mean, I've seen a lot of movies this year that I thought were fantastic. So I don't know. I don't know if we deserve that praise, but that was really sweet of him.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. I think that if you can touch people's hearts, I mean, that's the way to make movies if you can. Do you
Yeah.
know anyone personally with dementia?
My grandmother had dementia. It was still very early stages. She passed away from cancer, and she had dementia for quite some time, but it wasn't to the point that I think most people are familiar with Alzheimer's dementia, and how that looks in a family member or how far it can go. It was
Mhm,
really interesting though, because it was my first real experience seeing how many different sort of shapes this diagnosis can take, because I feel like dementia can be really a umbrella term for so many different things
mhm,
that someone's going through in the natural aging process. And for my grandmother, after my grandfather passed, they would do everything together, that was when you started to really notice her incapability of doing simple things that she may have once been able to do, particularly like organizational or planning things. I remember her trying to plan a dinner party for my father and all his siblings and just not being able to keep everyone's schedule straight or remember, what days of the week everyone was able to attend or come. And that really put her in bad spirits because she was very aware of her inability to do that at the time. And then my aunt, both her parents passed away from Alzheimer's after 10 plus year battles. So extended family members that I had seen quite often go through that. But really, I leaned quite heavily on some research from friends who work in memory wards, reading up and listening to other podcasts of people who had worked in memory wards, and then my co-writer Simon, who had his grandfather go through it for 9 years, and talking with his grandmother about being his primary caregiver and what that looked like.
wow. Yeah, I was going to ask you how you personally prepared for this, and that gives a really good picture of how you did that. I didn't realize there was such a thing as memory clinics.
Yeah, yeah. And a couple of Simon's contacts, and then Dominica's sister, who worked in a memory facility for a while, was really great inspiration talking to them about what that looked like. And, particularly just trying to mirror things that I think caregivers would see in the film. There's a scene between Miguel, the night caregiver, and Robert. There's an altercation at night after Caroline performs a scene with him during the day that starts to create these sort of memories and a little bit of a panic moment for Robert at night. And that's a very common phenomenon called sundowning. And that was very helpful to talk to people about what that looks like. So, again, using those things to just have moments that people could recognize. And then also at the same time, not trying to get too bogged down with trying to make it an advocacy piece. Because again, it was art, an artistic expression. So we wanted it to be a film. Uh, and obviously, taking that story where we want to go with it, as the primary concern.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you did an amazing job. And um, I just wanted to, before we wrap it up here, ask you if you want to say anything else about it. What do you hope that people take away from this?
Oh, I mean, it depends on who's seeing it, I guess. I hope that people find a way to connect with their loved ones, going through aging a little easier after the film. I think it's truly just a love letter to, people who are aging and to the people that care for them. One of the nicest things we heard, because again, we got to speak to so many audience members, was in our Somerville shows in Massachusetts. A woman came with her husband who and her husband's grandmother has Alzheimer's. And she told us, I don't have a question. I just want to let you guys know that I've always found it very difficult to connect with her because I don't know how to interact with someone who's going through that. But after seeing your film, I'm so excited to see her because I feel like I can I have so many things that I can think or talk about with her now. And I just want to say thank you so much for, this film because it's really inspired me to try to make a connection with her. And so that's really what I'd love. I'd love people to just feel that sort of excitement to care for a loved one, um, to value someone's identity and worth. Um, in their later years. A big thing that Simon always says, so this is really him, not me, but I really love it, is, when you look at like an actor's Wikipedia page, which is where I spend a lot of my time, when someone retires, you retires or passes away, you'll maybe get a section that's like 2 or 3 lines that says they retired in 2010 and then they passed away in 2026. And it's like 2 or 3 lines. And we are just so interested in those 16 years. How do you define someone's life in 3 sentences? That's actually 16 years. There's so much life there. So I think I hope audiences come away with that and just feel a connection to a loved one or someone they know going through that. And then for any filmmakers out there that see the film, because I've always been very vocal about just having filmmakers come see it, to just think about how you want to engage with your audience while making the film. Definitely take chances on yourself. Don't worry too much about the traditional avenues of filmmaking. Look at everyone else's success around you as inspiration instead of competition, because this is not a competitive sport. Um, and yeah, just find ways to get people to see your work. Think about bringing your film through the finish line. Don't finish it and have someone else potentially put it in front of audiences. How would you put it in front of audiences if you were in charge of it? And I would advocate that you should be in charge of it most of the time.
Yeah, I think that's really sound advice. Thank you, Dylan, so much. And I really appreciate your time. And that's about it for me. I'm gonna end this recording.
Okay.